Hey, everybody. Welcome in the building. Welcome in the building. I'm so glad to see y'all. Listen, it's already Thursday. It's November the 13th. It's Thursday, people. It's trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. And listen, tomorrow night, Diva going to be in the streets. I'm going to the Joe concert, okay? For all of y'all that know Joe, y'all know Joe. I'm going to the Joe concert tomorrow night. So tomorrow night, there will be no trending topics because I'm going to be in the streets, okay? I'll see y'all again on Saturday. So anyway, guys, tonight's trending topics is what are we doing? That's the title. What are we doing? The people seem to be obsessed with these Epstein files. I threw it up here tonight because it is a trending topic. But I guess I happen to be one of those people. Tara, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the super chat. I happen to be one of those people that I'm not that invested in it. I can have a conversation about it, but I'm not that invested in it. Why? Because listen, whatever is or is not in those files, you think this is going to take that man off his throne? Y'all let a man in. Much love, girlfriend. I appreciate you. Thank you. Y'all let that man in as president, and now we're fighting for these files, and you analyzing them, and I'm just trying to find out, like, what's the end result here? What's the end result going to be? Why are we here, and why are we doing this? I'm really just trying to figure it out. And that Ghislaine Maxwell, she out there in the low security prison. Listen, I report the news. I don't create it. So everything Diddy do over there in Fort Dix. They talking about it. But meantime, Ghislaine Maxwell, and she for real was found guilty. They did not find Diddy guilty of the trafficking. No, they did not. She was found guilty. And they moved her to the cushy prison. She get the pet dogs. They said the people waiting on her hand and foot. They said the warden is helping her write a letter to get a pardon. And when she spoke to the people, she said Trump ain't do nothing, didn't see nothing, and she didn't see nothing either. But meantime, in the emails, it's saying something different. We're going to have a conversation about it. But again, is it just so we can have conversations about it? Because you already know they're not going to knock that man off his square. But we'll talk about it. Then we're going to talk about this hot car tragedy. The memo has been sent several times. I'm not sure what the people don't get. You cannot leave your child in a car while you go work a shift, go on a booty call, go to play in the casino. We've been together for years now. How many stories have we had with the hot car and the kid get left in it? The other father, he just took his own life the other day because he wasn't going to do that jail time. She went for her shift at the Kia dealership in a 7-month-old, not even a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 7-month-old. Mentally, you're gone. If you think a 7-month-old is going to survive in the car, even if it ain't hot, you have got to be kidding me. We're going to talk about it. And then we're going to talk about Simone Biles. Listen, I don't know. She's a beautiful girl. I don't even think she's 30, or she is 30. She just hit 30. She talking about how in the past she got Botox. Botox? And now she talked about how she got the breast implant. She had to get an earlobe fixed because something happened with the earlobe, and she got like an eye surgery because she had bags or whatever she had. And I said, good gosh almighty. She is not 30. Thank you, Zara. So she's not even 30. And all this plastic surgery. You know, the gymnasts, they have a certain body type. Because they got the flip, dip, split, and bounce up and jump down and around. And she has said that she was thinking about, going to the next Olympics. She might as well stay home now because them big bulls with the implants, it ain't going to work well. With you getting up on the balance beam and you trying to hop around, dance around, flip around and all that. I don't understand it. I really don't. But she claims, she always wanted these things done. And she's speaking out to be transparent and encourage others to do whatever it is they want to do. Well, you can get your encouragement from her. You can get it from your parents. You can get it from whoever. And this is what the diva got to tell you. If you don't have to put anything foreign in your body, don't do it. It ain't worth it. The butt ain't worth it. The breast implants ain't worth it because you know what? I think after 10 years, you got to go get those fixed. You got to lift up and do it again. You end up getting a lot of scar tissue. And when you go to get a mammogram, it's brutal. To all the ladies out there, a mammogram is brutal anyway. When you have implants and you got to go get a mammogram, it is brutal. They got to push the implant out the way, shove you up in the machine, and try to get a good picture. What? Get a push-up bra. Ain't that serious? But we're going to talk about it. I think she's insecure, an NFL husband with thousands of women in his circle. You know what? That could be the case, but let me tell you, the man married her. He liked her as is. I don't know. We're going to talk about it, but listen, y'all know what I need in the chat. I need a what? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Thursday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title's called What Are We Doing? We got the Epstein files exposed. We got the hot car tragedy. And then we got Simone Biles talking about her plastic surgery. Let me bring the people in the building. Hey, in my opinion. Hey, Felicia.
Hey, Diva.
Hey, Julius. Hey, Savannah.
Hey, y'all. Hit the like button.
Listen, people, I'm going to go ahead. I guess I got to start with these Epstein files. I might as well go ahead and get them out the way. Let me share a screen and show you. Let me see. There's Amy Farmer. She is a Epstein survivor. Let's hear her speak first.
I spoke with Annie Farmer. She survived sexual abuse at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein and has advocated for the full release of the Epstein files. Please take a listen. First question, Annie. You appeared on the steps of the Capitol not so long ago advocating for the discharge petition, a legislative vehicle to possibly win the release of all the Epstein files. How are you feeling at this moment when it appears that might actually happen in the House?
It was incredible to see Grijalva, sworn in yesterday finally, and know that her signature gets us, one very big step closer to pursuing this transparency that we've all come together to support and really to demand. So I think it felt surreal for many of us to know that we were closer to the truth than ever before.
There are those who look at this, Annie, and wonder, is there a political agenda? Do you want to address that?
I'd be happy to address that. Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the many frustrations that survivors in this case have felt and expressed is that this case has been politicized, but it is not political. This is not a partisan issue. The sexual abuse of children and young women is in no way partisan. And in fact, when my sister Maria Farmer first reported this, that was 1996. We've had 5 administrations, come and go since then, right? Like many directors of the FBI. This is always something that survivors have wanted, is more information about what went wrong here. Why didn't we see justice? So the fact that there has been more call and interest at this time, I think that just means that, Americans are learning more and are more interested in wanting that information to be released. But for us, it is not political.
And of course, some now in positions of prominence within the Trump administration were vocally calling for that transparency not so long ago.
Yeah. I think that that's, one of the things that is confusing to us is that, there have been people that are part of the administration that campaigned on making sure that these files would be released. And I think that really made a lot of Americans, more curious and want to understand what had gone wrong. And now they're in positions of power, and we're just saying, please follow through with your promises, right? And it hasn't happened. And in fact, the way that things have unfolded, it felt like just one stall after another. And that's really hard on the individuals that, like myself, my sister, so many of the survivors I know personally. This trickle of information is really difficult, right? We're just asking for the full files to be released, so we don't have to continue to live, in this roller coaster world where you never know what's coming one day to the next.
When I talked to the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, about this several weeks ago, he said, well, we need to be very careful about the victims, about the survivors, and that we don't release information that is harmful to them, either reputationally or otherwise. From your vantage point, Annie Farmer, is that a valid point of view?
Of course, it is important that survivors who do not want to be revealed would not be revealed. But I think that this Epstein Transparency Act has that built into it. And I feel that, unfortunately, that is protecting the survivors is being used as an excuse to delay the release of this information. All of the survivors that I know and am in touch with are in support of this bill because it does have provisions built in for that. So saying, no, we can't pass this legislation because we need to protect survivors, I don't believe it.
You have a unique perspective on all this, Annie. You are, I believe, the only person to identify yourself by name and testify against, and correct me if I'm wrong, both Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. So you have been among the most brave, if not the most brave survivor. All of this cascading around you, I just want to check, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
Well, I guess for me, I want to say that I think, my ability to come forward and speak out is really based on the women that have inspired me. First of all, my sister, Maria Farmer, who was the first to report Epstein in 1996. And then also very much Virginia Giuffre. I think right now the world is getting to know her better through her memoir. And, her powerful example of being so bold and clear about speaking out about these crimes was also, very much an inspiration for me. But I think that luckily there are many of us. And as we come together, I think we just feel stronger and stronger. The more voices we have, the louder we get. And I think that we are nervous right now because it feels like there's a lot at stake. But I also think we feel really emboldened. And I'm hopeful that we're at a place where we are really going to see that all of us coming together is going to make a difference.
Before I let you go, Annie, 2 questions. President Trump again this week described this as the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. And there have been lots of reporting about the way that Ghislaine Maxwell has been treated in this different federal prison she has been moved to. I'd like your thoughts on both.
Sure. First, in terms of the comment about it being a hoax, I think it's, I feel confused about what that means. I've never know what he means when he says that. Obviously, there's so many of us. I don't think the American people think this is a hoax. But what I will say is there has been a lot of misinformation that has floated around this case for a long time. And actually, that misinformation is very damaging to those of us involved. and very confusing. And so in my mind, the best way of making sure we have the facts about this straight and we can separate fact from fiction when it comes to the Epstein case is to release all of the DOJ's files, right? They investigated. There's a ton of information. So I think that just speaks to the importance of transparency. And then on your second question, in terms of Maxwell's treatment, I think we've just seen more and more that it feels like she is getting this privileged treatment that is not typical for an inmate, especially someone who is a sex offender at her level. And it's extremely problematic. It seems like further evidence that there's these two different sort of systems of justice at play. And because of her connections and because of her privilege, and perhaps because of what she knows, she is being given, benefits that others are not. And I think it sends a very dangerous message. And I hope that ends.
Annie Farmer, thank you very much for your time.
Okay, let me just show, I have another piece here. I have several pieces of this, but I'll show this piece and then we'll go around and start talking about it. I know why Epstein refused to expose Trump. Wolf. So author Michael Wolff has addressed the bombshell emails between him and Jeffrey Epstein, saying they showed him in pursuit of a vital story about the character of Donald Trump. Epstein's emails with Wolff were released first in part by Democrats on the House Oversight Committee and then in full in a 26,000-page cache of correspondence obtained from the late pedophile's estate by Congress. The email suggested that Trump may have known more about Epstein's conduct than the president has acknowledged. They also prompted new questions about Wolff's involvement with the infamous sex offender, showing him offering advice to Epstein at the same time as asking a financier for journalistic information. Wolff, the co-host of the Daily Beast, Inside Trump's Head podcast with Joanna Coles, told an emergency edition of the podcast that he corresponded with Epstein to better understand Trump and to persuade Epstein to come forward with what he knew about his one-time friend. He said he was in pursuit of a vital story, the truth about Trump, and that the emails could be embarrassing in hindsight, but were part of his journalistic mission. He disclosed that Epstein was too afraid to speak publicly about Trump, calling him fearful, even before Trump's first presidential victory in 2016. The explosive emails have reopened the Epstein file controversy for Trump. In one email written to Wolff on January 30th, 2019, Epstein explicitly stated that Trump knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop, a reference to Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell. Trump, who was a friend of Epstein's from the 1980s into the 2000s, had repeatedly said he did not know anything about Epstein's crimes. In another email exchange, Wolff wrote to Epstein on December 15, 2015, the day of a debate in the Republican presidential primaries, telling him, "I hear CNN planning to ask Trump tonight about his relationship with you, either on air or in scum afterwards." Epstein wrote back, "If we were able to craft the answer for him, what do you think it should be? I think you should let him hang himself. If he said he hasn't been on a plane or the house, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency," replied Wolff. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you. Or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him, generating a debt. Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say Jeffrey is a great guy and has gotten a raw deal and is a victim of political correctness, which is to be outlawed in a Trump regimen. On the emergency episode of Inside Trump Head podcast, Coles confronted Wolff, saying she was shocked by the emails and saying that he appeared to be advising a convicted pedophile. What emails sound like would have one rewritten in hindsight. Yeah, of course. Emails are always that embarrassing, said Wolff. Wolff said that for his 2008 biography, Rupert Murdoch, the man who owns the news, which he wrote based on conversations he had with the media mogul over months, he had employed the same approach. If you saw the emails that I shared with Rupert, I would be embarrassed about them, he said. But I was able to write a book that no one has been able to write, and a book also that he profoundly hated. The author's conversations with Epstein began in 2014 when the pedophile financier approached him to become a biographer. But Wolf, who wrote his first tell-all book on Trump, Fire and Fury, after spending months behind the scenes of the White House in 2017, said that he was nice to Epstein so I could get the true story of Trump, one which would offer an entirely different view to readers. Pursuing that story comes at the cost of having to be nice to people like Epstein, he said. I'm the person who sees this. The element story, Donald Trump, he said. I've gone through this with Epstein deep into background. Donald Trump is the best friend of, evil. He is the best friend of a deeply, deeply diabolical person. Getting to that story, he said, involved play acting, telling Coles that what he wrote in the 2015 email to Epstein was obviously what Epstein wanted to hear. I'm a writer who manages to make relationships that let me tell a story in ways that the New York Times or other very reputable journalistic organizations are unable to tell, said Wolf. The story, he said, was vital to shed light on Trump himself and to try to persuade Epstein to make public what he knew about his one-time best friend, a man Epstein labeled in an email cache as dirty and a manic. Wolf said, one of the things that I was focused on is trying to get Epstein to come forward. Why don't you go public with these pictures? Why don't you go public? Let me help you go public in telling your story about Donald Trump. The Daily Beast has reached out to the White House for a comment. Press Secretary Caroline had dismissed the emails as selectively leaked by Democrats to liberal media to distract from Trump's historic accomplishments. White House Communications Director Stephen has previously derailed Wolf as a lying sack of and accused him of having Trump derangement syndrome. Wolf said Epstein's fear of Trump was central to the story. The point was how afraid Epstein was of Trump, Wolf noted. Epstein was fearful about what would happen to him if Donald Trump became the president of the United States. Wolf has previously recounted how Epstein once dug into his safe to take out photos of Trump posing with topless young women whose ages Wolf did not know on his lap at Epstein's estate in Palm Beach. Discussing his attempts to convince Epstein to speak against Trump, the author said, I saw then, as I have continued to see and see every day now, that Donald Trump was unfit to be president of the United States. In another email that was released Wednesday, dated April the 2nd, 2011, Epstein tells Maxwell, I want you to realize that that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. And they redacted the name. I'll spend hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned, police chief, etc. And 75% there. Republicans named redacted as Virginia Guthrie, who died by taking her own life earlier this year. Epstein died in a Manhattan jail in 2019 while awaiting trial for his crimes, while Maxwell was subsequently sentenced to 20 years in jail for her role in helping him recruit and abuse young girls. The emails were unveiled as the House of Representatives returned on Wednesday to officially end the government shutdown. Arizona representative was sworn in soon after, then provided the final 218 signature necessary to force a vote to release the files in the House despite the wishes of the president and GOP leadership. I have more, but we'll go around and start talking about this now. In my opinion, your thoughts?
So let's be clear. We all wanted to know this, but it's not going to affect this man. If this man got elected being a 40-time felon, I really don't understand what people need to see to know that he's a monster. All of them are monsters. They were all hanging together and texting and writing each other because they was into this stuff. You can't sit there with these kind of people knowing that they're doing this to children and young people and think that it's okay. Sleep at night. You got to be a monster to go along with this. Yes, we've all wanted the release, but let's be clear. It's not going to make a difference. At the end of the day, this monster has his following, his cults. The people that believe in him. Even though everything he's doing is tearing America apart, he's dividing and conquering us in so many different ways. He's trying to take away every right we have.
I appreciate you. Felicia, your thoughts?
Hey, good evening, everybody.
evening.
Hope everybody's doing good, doing well. I don't have too many thoughts on this Epstein piece. I don't know a lot. I heard things over the decades. I guess now that you're doing it, perhaps I'll pay more attention. But what I do know from Donnie J is that he's always had a thing for girls. He's talked about it. He said when he was with that pageant, Miss Teen USA or something, he used to encourage not only himself, but some of his guests to walk in on the young girls getting dressed and seeing them, partially nude, and he would get excited. He's always had a penchant for these things. If you read any excerpts from his wife's book, his first wife treats women. The second wife, I'm not too sure. And Melania, we got stories. So, but I don't have real facts. I'm going to learn about this. I did read some other documentary things about Epstein and all the trouble and horrific things he did to all those young women down there in Florida repeatedly, and how kind the criminal justice system was to him and just let him out and let him do what he wanted to do. But I gather people are interested. I personally am really not. I don't think it's going to change anything.
Right.
I think he'll probably get a lot more support from all the other predators that's out there. So I'm done.
I appreciate you. 48, your thoughts?
Hey Diva, panel chat. I'm kind of in the same boat with like Miss Felicia Ann, in my opinion. It's like we're living in a dystopia until he gets out, It's like the Hunger Games, and I don't know who's gonna be tribute, but I know we only got a few more years to deal with it. Yeah, I just don't know if there's gonna be any justice, if you will, especially if he has the power to pardon himself, because we know that presidents have done that. So, yeah, that's all I got.
I appreciate you. Savannah, your thoughts?
This Epstein file story is just going to get grosser and grosser as we learn more details. I think even some of our beloved greats, their names are going to be tied to this mess. I recalled Julie Brown's piece when she did in the Miami Herald, and I know her book. I think it's Perversion of Justice or something, or Justice. But Julie Brown, I remember her doing that expose when they did the documentary on Netflix and talked about it, how she had met so much. She had a lot of challenges and hurdles just to get the young women to sit down with her and recount their stories, because these young ladies were terrified of these people and their lawyers and the pull that they had, because they knew, Epstein knew, and these prominent people knew that they weren't really seeking out like the Vanity Fair models and the actresses in Hollywood. They were going after the young women that no one was going to believe, that were easily forgotten. They were going to the schools and the malls and promising them photo shoots and modeling gigs and all these. And after they did what they did with them, they would give them a couple $100s and send them on their way. and these sick, perverted men use money to abuse of children, because the youngest one on the files is 13 years old. So these were some children that they were, and some of them were passed around, which makes it, and what makes it even more gross, Diva, is like when we had the Sean trial and there was talks of children, but there was never any evidence. You know, no one ever presented evidence of him having any type of connection or relationship with a child. But then in this case, there is evidence. There is actual evidence. There's victims. There's photos, and there's still, these people are still running around free. No one spent a day in jail, and the madam is at a spa. She's serving her sentence in a spa with a service dog and kosher meals and everything. And the justice system is so twisted. And this, I am invested in this story because I recall that time in South Florida. I knew I couldn't raise my daughter there. My daughter was like 4 or 5, and I moved. There was just something that wasn't sitting right with me, just the culture. And at that time, 2 Live Crew and all of them were out there. That's the music they were displaying, and things were going on that I just didn't like. But that was the culture out there. And there was always a known of rich white men that were going on, and not just white, because there was other nationalities too that were out there, but it was all about money and power, and they were going around talking to young girls. But that was always in South Florida at that time. And I say we, but people knew that this was going on in the islands out there, because there are some islands that you can take your boat and then go out there and do whatever you do. So I am invested in this story. I want to read the emails. I'm going to order Julie's book, and I'm going to go back and revisit the expose that she did in, I think it was in 2008, because this has been, I think when this came out was in like 2005, when it was finally brought to the public about Jeffrey Epstein. And then she did her expose in like 2008, and that's why they called him back to the courts. So I want to go back and revisit, because I think this story deserves to be told and listened to. Honestly, it's a long time coming, and these perverts, really, we need to know who the faces of the monsters are.
Yeah, thank you, Savannah. Julius, your thoughts?
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Because I can hear the chanting now. Release all the files. Anyone who's been on the list, release it. No confidentiality, no none of that. Release it. Release it all. Because I'm with the expose it all. We need to know. Expose it all. And I want to say to the late Virginia Guthrie, may you rest in peace.
Yeah. Thank you, Julius. Katrina, your thoughts?
Hey Diva, hey panel, hey chat. We've been knowing this stuff. Well, we've been hearing this stuff forever, and like Savannah said, they was calling Diddy a monsters with the kids and the underage girls and whatsoever. But not once have these people came out and called, as I'm said respectfully because my mom is on this panel, Donna J. He hasn't been called a monster at all. He said he can walk in the team models or team USA, whatever they was trying to do, and see them naked. He said that he can walk up to women. If you got money, and grabbed their JJ. He also said that women, basically, women is there just for pleasure for them. And for these people to be getting away with it because they got money, all because they got money. Because if it was anybody else that's out on the streets or in some other type of places, they would have been arrested or blackballed or just sent out the pasture. Or somebody would have tried to try and find a way to get back at them. These people have got away with this for far too long. These kids have been abused for far too long. And you don't know what type of psyche happened to people when they're as at the ages that they were. Because that's the trauma you're gonna carry with you all your life. And they don't care. As long as they getting their pleasure and getting what they want out of it. They don't care how you feel. So this is the person that's over the United States that have so many people's lives in his hands. And he doesn't care because he only care about him, his family, and trying to get rich. Like how much money, more money you want. You can't take it with you when you pass away. And to put these kids through all this, I mean, this is sick. And then, like I say, he wants to pamper this woman that did all this stuff, or so-called did all this stuff, as we would say, so-called or whatever. And, we got a lot of people that came at us about Diddy. Diddy is in this type of prison that he's in, and look what type of prison she's in when we know she was bringing minors. And that's the thing, because of the skin color and who the person is. And Diddy got money. That's the thing. He has money. He can, pay pardons or whatever. He has money to get out. But they still got him stuck up in this place over some streetwalkers. Not that none of them came in there that was saying that that they was taken advantage of because they went on their own. But when you got kids underage being taken advantage of and this man walking the street, that's a whole different scenario. And I feel for these people, these kids, these girls, what they went through. And for somebody to just take your innocence away when you're trying to be out there to work a job and this what happens to you. It's sad on so many levels. And as we say, everybody that's in there, but we probably ain't gonna know everybody that's in there. But all of them in there need to be brought to justice and have them shunned the way they got shunned, the way they got Diddy shunned. And I hope these people to get some resolution because it's sick on so many levels, Diva. It's just so sick on so many levels. But that's all I got.
Thank you. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and roll right into the next story. And this hot car tragedy. Let me share a screen so we could get into it. So mom went to work at Georgia car dealership, allegedly leaving baby to die in hot parked car outside. Police said Nyla Simmons, 7-month-old baby, was found unresponsive in a car parked outside the Kia dealership where she worked as temperatures neared 90 degrees. May he rest in peace with little cutie pie. A 7-month-old baby died after being left in a hot car outside a Georgia car dealership last month. And now the child's mother is charged with second-degree murder. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation, GBI, said in a November 5th news release that Nyla Simmons, 22, was arrested on November 3rd and charged with second-degree murder and second-degree cruelty to children after her infant was brought to a hospital in Albany and pronounced dead. According to the agency, the Lee County Sheriff's Office requested GBI assistance on October the 16th after deputies responded to the hospital regarding the child's death. An online obituary identifies the child as Novani Chuvan Simmons, who was born in March of this year. Deputies told GBI investigators the baby had been brought in from the Kia automotive dealership on Lido Road in Albany, per the news release. That's the mother. Simmons, who worked at the dealership, allegedly left the baby inside her vehicle before starting her shift there, according to Law and Crime and some other outlets. Temperatures in Albany reached about 88 degrees that day, the outlets reported, citing Weather Underground data. Authorities have not publicly said how long the infant was in the car. Lee County Coroner Hill Mackey told the news the child's body was sent for an autopsy on Friday, October the 17th, and the official cause of death is still pending. People get upset because they think after the autopsy, you should have an answer. The county coroner, Michael Fowler, told the outlet. If there is not any trauma to the child or injuries to the child, then a lot of time you got to wait on a tox and the histology, all of that, to come in and see what happened. Investigators identified Simmons as a suspect through interviews and evidence collection, according to GBI. She was arrested at Lee County Sheriff's Office and booked into Lee County Jail, where she is being held without bond, according to jail records reviewed by People. The investigation remains active and ongoing. The GBI said once it is complete, the case file will be turned over to the Southwestern Judicial Circuit District Attorney's Office. This is sad. May he rest in peace. In my opinion, your thoughts?
So blessings to this baby that didn't even get a chance to live. Let's be clear. This is another case. These are another law that needs to be changed. When this stuff first started happening, it was easy to let people go with these lesser sentences or lesser charges because it was like, okay, well, I guess I can give you the benefit of the doubt that you forgot your baby was in the back seat. But when this first started coming out, they told people, put your purse in your back seat so you can go look back there and see that your child is there. Put something that you're going to have for work in the back seat so you can make sure you check in your back seat. If these people don't want to listen to that, then we need to charge them fully because they are committing a crime now. We're taking lives. And this is sad because if you don't want these children, then give them away. There are families that are praying for babies and can't have them. But to see these innocent babies not even have a chance to live, being taken out because these people are negligent in their parenting, not loving and caring for the people, for the little people that came out of them, that they carried in their stomach for 9 months and cared for. If you're that heartless, then give them the full time. This is when our lawmakers need to stand up and stand up for these lives. Now, you say you don't want women to have abortions. Well, then you shouldn't want these babies to die like this. Because at 80 degrees, we all know in a closed, locked car, the temperatures are way higher than what they are on the outside. That baby is literally cooking in a car. That has to be the most horrific way to go. When you're hot, you're able to roll down your windows and cut on your air, so you're not uncomfortable. But this baby sitting locked up in a car seat with the windows up, with 80 degrees, cooking in a car, and can't fend for themselves, this is not an accident. It's intentional.
I appreciate you. Felicia, your thoughts?
Okay, Diva. Okay, so we didn't get much from the story. So I'm right on the middle here, because you told us that the mother took the baby to work and just left the baby in the car, and she left her there during her shift. But I didn't hear, or did not hear, that she didn't go out and check the baby. Maybe her child care didn't come through. She thought this was a good idea. I can't process what I don't have. I don't want to fill in the blanks here. I feel very bad for this baby. And I feel bad for this mother because she was locked up. She's locked up without bail. But they didn't tell us that she made any statements. Was it intentional or not? Or what she was trying to accomplish, or what she was trying to do. I don't know. So I'm gonna pass for now, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. 48.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that bothers me the most, Diva, you have a kid, and most parents in the chat probably can agree. Like, have you ever like signed some paperwork or took something out that you know you needed to like put in your kid's bag or make sure you hand it to the teacher, but in the hustle and bustle of the morning, you leave it, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
then all of a sudden, you start thinking about your kid throughout the morning, right? Hopefully your kid comes across your mind like, oh, you know, I hope they're doing okay. And then boom, oh, dang, I left that paper, or dang, I left their lunch. So your immediate thought is to go and try to handle that, what you needed to handle with
Mm-hmm.
your kid before you drop them off. So the thing that like pisses me off the most when I hear stories like this is that your child never came across your mind throughout the day,
Come on.
that you didn't think about, like, I wonder how my baby doing, no matter how old they are. 2 months, 3 months, 13, 17. It don't no matter, your child don't come across your mind at all. That's negligence. To me, you need to be locked up. To me, you need to talk to a doctor. You need to talk to somebody because your mind ain't where it need to be. If you had sense enough to get out the car, go inside, I don't need to know more of the story because it don't make no sense.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, whatever she gets, she get. I hope that they find out, like, whatever the doctor, the autopsy guy, whatever he finds out. I hope it, well, it ain't nothing to hope about. You know what I'm saying? I just hope they hurry up and finish up the case and lock her ass up. And she's young enough that she could be reformed. I'm not saying lock her up forever,
Mm-hmm.
but it needs to be in these, like we talked about yesterday. The punishment needs to fit the crime.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of these people just going to jail and it's nothing happening. It's like, okay, I could just get rid of this person, get rid of this thing that's bothering me, and I can get 15 to 25. You have to think that these are what these people are thinking because it makes no sense. Rest in peace to the little baby. He had the most beautiful golden skin and
Mm-hmm.
beautiful reddish golden hair. Rest in peace, little man.
Rest in peace, little man. And like you said, listen, I think every parent probably did this, like when they first born, or even as soon after. You be peeking, you be half tired, you be peeking at them sleeping, you just waiting for their stomach to move to make sure they still breathing. Like you said, regardless of what happened, this baby didn't cross your mind. I have a little bit more. So Georgia mom Nyla Simmons accused of leaving her 7-month-old son to die in a hot car while she worked. A Georgia mom is accused of leaving a 7-month-old baby son to die inside a scorched vehicle while she worked nearby. Nyla Simmons, 22, was charged on November 3rd with second-degree cruelty to children and second-degree murder in connection with the death of her infant, according to the Lee County Sheriff's Office. Authorities said the mother left him in the car before starting her shift at the Kia automotive dealership in Albany, about 80 miles outside of Columbus, on October the 16th. Simmons then rushed her baby 5 miles to the Memorial Hospital after she made the gut-wrenching discovery that she had left the child in the car. Did she think she took him to a daycare? Temperatures reached as high as 90 degrees, according to the AccuWeather. The infant was pronounced dead at the hospital, authorities said. Lee County Sheriff's Office deputies were then called to the hospital to investigate the infant's death. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation took Simmons into custody at Lee County Sheriff's Office on November 3rd without incident. Simmons is currently booked into Lee County Jail and faces up to 40 years in prison if found guilty. Lee County Coroner Hill Mackey told the news that the infant's body was sent to autopsy on October the 17th. They're still pending the cause of death. He talked about that. If there's not any trauma, we already know that. Simmons, a mother of two, seemed to be a devoted, nurturing parent who regularly posted photos and updates of her baby boy and his older sister on social media before the tragedy. In weeks preceding her son's death, she posted photos on Facebook of her children enjoying a pumpkin patch the following day. Before she was arrested, Simmons thanked those who reached out to her with genuine love and support following her son's death. Thank you to everyone who reached out with genuine love and support. Even if I didn't respond, please know that I saw it, felt it, and truly appreciate it. Your kindness has meant more than words can say, she wrote on Facebook. Since 1995, there have been 26 children who have died inside hot cars in the state of Georgia, according to statistics provided by the Kids in Cars Safety Organization. More than 1,100 children have died in hot cars in the United States since 1990, with 88% of the deaths nationwide being children 3 years old or younger. And on average, 40 children die each year from heat stroke inside a vehicle across the nation. So just a little bit more.
Diva, can I add something?
Yes, you can.
Okay, because then I don't want nobody to get on here and then think, oh, well, because she, was a single mom and doing that. When you become a parent, regardless of the situation, you're responsible for your kid. So I'm not saying that your child is a bad choice or whatever. Your child is always first choice. So if you needed to go into that dealership and just bring your baby in there with you and say, hey, I really want to come to work today, whatever is going on, people may have empathy, people may not. Who gives a damn? It's your kid. That's the only priority. So guess what? Welcome to adulthood. Welcome to being a parent, where when stuff get hard, you just can't put the hard stuff in the back and just keep going like stuff is straight. It don't work like that. So to me, it's no excuse. People have their own opinion, but I just wanted to say that because you added that. I don't think that that's an excuse because you was a single mom having to go to work. I've done that. I know it's people on this panel who's worked at fast food restaurants who had to take their babies inside the restaurant and sit them down inside the restaurant and do their shift. I know people on this panel who work at hospitals who had to bring their child in the waiting room and sit in the waiting room for a little while until auntie, uncle, dad, whoever could come and pick you up. But that your eyes was always on your child. So it's no excuse.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Savannah, your thoughts?
Ooh, I was over here clapping with you, 48. I absolutely agree with everything you said. The only question I have on this story is, so she left her child, and he looks so tiny, in the car at a car dealership. So nobody else walked that lot and seen a baby in the backseat of a car at a car dealership. I'm side-eyeing that because I know there's somebody walking the lot, even if they're not selling cars. They
No,
should
but
still
see,
be out.
that's the problem. But hold on, Savannah. That's the problem I had. Each article gives a little bit more of a piece. They said she was parked nearby the job that she worked in. That's why I don't think it was a mistake that she just forgot the baby in there. So I'm taking it as she didn't park it in the lot of her job. It was nearby.
So then I agree with you. That doesn't seem like it's a mistake either. I think she deserves every bit of the 40 years that she's charged with. I agree that this is negligence. You can't be that busy. I'm sorry. As parents, as young parents, you figure it out. Where's your support system? I don't like this story. I'm side-eyeing it. I agree completely with 48. You should be, even when you're busy. I have that. My kids are adults, and when I'm at work, I still check in on them, and I require them to check in with me daily. Let me know you good. But yeah, she deserves every bit of the 40 years. Absolutely negligent.
Julius?
So what is parenting nowadays? Bungee wagon of fools? I mean, 48 said it all. And it's like, I know when I'm driving, even though the kids in my back seat, they don't even go to sleep. And one is 3 and one is 12. But I still look in my rear view and check on them. And they just be looking out the window. Or one be talking about something. He 3 years old. They always be talking about something. But it's like, But here I am at my big old age. And I still check in with my parents. Sometimes when I'm leaving school, I'll be asking my mom, hey, you want me to get you some lunch? Or coffee? Something. Just a simple check in. But most people, they frown upon, and this is something I'm glad we're touching on. In 48, girl, you preached the whole sermon. And Katrina, you said a piece that I'm connected with. Some people frown upon when you go places, leaving a number behind so people know if you to reach you if they can't get your direct phone. They frown upon it. But I see it as a safety net. People nowadays frown upon these safety nets when they can keep them from getting in a whole bunch of trouble. This these people just don't think anymore. I don't know what else to say, Diva.
Thank you. Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah, Diva. My thoughts are you have a routine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you're getting one child ready, you know you got the other child there. You have a routine of taking, I don't know if the older child is in school or not, but either child you had to drop that child off at daycare or you had to get that child ready for school because there was only one child left in that car. I don't know if the mom got that child or whatever. Because you have a routine. And as you like you said, Diva, you know how I feel about my kids. You know how I feel about my grandkids. And I know how everybody else on this panel feels. So what I'm saying is, how in the world you didn't remember putting your child in a car and going to work, and as for they say, not thinking about your child and saying, "Oh, girl, I forgot to drop my child off at school. Let me go to my car and do so and so." So you don't go on lunch breaks. You didn't go on your lunch break today. You ate at the the dealership. You didn't think to say like, okay, let me park my car here. And then, like you said, even maybe she parked her car there so that child could be in that car all day long. Because it's not making any sense. And I don't know how old her car is, but my car, before I get out, it'll ding and have me to look in the back seat to make sure there's nobody back there, even if it's a bag of groceries. It's gonna ding to let me know to see if anything in the back seat. I don't know how old her car is or whatsoever, but that's what my car do. And the thing of it is, when you got this child out there in this car, and this degrees of weather, that's a whole nother level. That baby cooked inside of a car. Nobody heard the baby cry. I mean, the baby sent, well, she parked the car away, so nobody could hear the baby. This is ridiculous. I don't get it. These people are, now these what you call monsters. These are dealing with children. As I said, go back to Sean Gum again. They call him a monster, but what? Not one person in this article called this lady a monster. She get to be, or she forgot her baby in the car. Maybe she was so busy she couldn't remember, and she got this going on, she got that going on. I have seen 14 and 15-year-olds making sure their babies is taken care of. So you can miss me with that other bill crap of saying that she had a lot of stuff going on. You got two kids. I'm trying to figure out where's the other kid that you forgot about. You had this one in the car. What kind of routine you got going on? You going to work and you putting this baby in the car and you don't remember your child is in the back seat. I mean, this is ridiculous. And like we said, Felicia, everybody on the panel, this got to stop. Y'all are punishing these babies. They are punishing these babies. You punish somebody who is defenseless and can't do anything for themselves, can't do anything until you do it. And as we go, as we have kids, I will make sure, girl, I'm laying in the bed looking and making sure that the child chest is going up and down, the stomach going up and down, or I do something to move just to see if they're gonna have any type of reaction back to that. So I just don't get it. I don't get it. And if we keep doing this and keep getting away with it, they going to prison, they doing this, we paying for them to be sitting inside of a prison because they the tax people dollars, and they just sitting there and nothing is getting solved because you getting locked up. You getting locked up, but this child is gone. You still walking around flourishing, watching TV, doing whatever your job is that you're gonna be doing in the prison. You still got air in your body. and this child does not. I, this is just sick. And what makes it more sick is when kids is taken away from cancer or other little undeveloped things they got going on their body, and you got this baby, a healthy baby whatsoever, and gone for what? No reason. Just off this earth because you want to do what you want to do with your life and be neglectful to his or hers. I, I'm good, Diva. That's all I got, y'all.
All right, I'm gonna roll into the last story. Simone Biles and her plastic surgery. Hold on one second. Simone Biles openly, honestly explains why she had her breasts done. She said, no shame. Social media is not real. So that's why I try to be transparent as possible. Biles tells people exclusively of why she's sharing her plastic surgery story. Simone Biles is continuing to be her transparent self. The Olympic gymnast 28 opened up to people exclusively about her decision to undergo cosmetic surgery and why it's important for her to speak publicly on the topic now. It's just who I am. And I feel like I've always tried to be open, honest, and unrelatable. She tells people exclusively before diving in at length about her procedures, the reason she had them done, and why others should feel no shame for their choices. That's her with her new boobs. The conversation arose shortly after Biles revealed on a TikTok that she has undergone 3 plastic surgeries so far and urged her followers to guess the work she had done. However, she noted that 2 of the 3 wouldn't be noticeable. The 7-time Olympic gold medalist didn't explicitly state the surgery she underwent in the video, but she responded to several of her followers who dropped their guesses in the comment section per her request. While Biles played coy about getting a breast augmentation online, simply added the cherry emojis. She was transparent about her lower eye surgery, which lessened bagginess for the lower eyelids and eliminates excess skin from her upper eyelids, per the Cleveland Clinic, and earlobe surgery. Seeing me win medals at the Olympics, that's not relatable, Biles told people exclusively. But what is relatable is how we feel about ourselves, what we talk about, what we go through, and how we share openly and honestly. And so that's why I decided to share it, she says, of her social media post. During the interview, Biles doubled down on her TikTok tidbit that 2 of her surgeries are things you would never notice and explained why she had them done. I got a lower lid surgery done because me and my family have, I call it the Biles eyes bags, she explains. We just always had them, hereditary. And so that's just a big flaw. Every time I would go to a shoot, they're like, oh, can you put some strips on her? And I was like, oh, baby, I had 12 hours of sleep last night. Those things aren't going away. Those are just hereditary, she shares, adding, so it's something that I wanted to fix. Biles then explained that she got plastic surgery on her ear to get it fixed because one of her earrings got ripped out when she was a kid. Then Biles opened up about her breast augmentation, but emphasized that it wasn't because she didn't like how she looked prior to getting them done. Okay, obviously you can notice the breast, she says, but other than that, it's just feeling good about yourself and loving yourself. And I've always been very vocal about that. And not that I didn't like the way I looked or the way I felt, she makes clear. Explain it. It's just something that I notice obviously a little bit more because I live in a body. I'm just so used to it, whatever that means. Biles then shared a message she hopes the younger generation takes away from her transparency on the topic. I also think it shows young girls that they have the right to their own choices, whatever they are, and that there's no shame added as well, she says. I feel like nowadays with social media, you see everyone and you're like, oh my God, how does she look so good? Social media is not real. So that's why I try to be transparent as possible, she continues. But that's why I also told them on my 27th birthday, I got Botox. And for me, it didn't go well. I didn't like it because I had a floating eyebrow and everyone was asking what that was. So I tried to share, the gymnast says, of opening up about it in August 2024. And it's like, you don't have to do these things to fall in line to seem whatever. Biles concludes, as long as you love yourself, that's really all that matters. Okay. In my opinion, I don't know. It was a lot of word salad there, but that's her story and she's sticking to it. Your thoughts?
So let's be clear. These people in this day and time, social media has sexualized everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so tired of people putting their pictures out of them in their bras and panties, and I'm tired of everybody having to have everything out. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be big this and big that. It's got to be out and exposed. That don't make you a real woman. Exposing yourself. And I feel like this world has sexualized us to feel like that's sexy. That's not sexy. That's hoish and thottish. I'm just gonna be serious. That's what it is. It takes away from your natural beauty that you have to put everything out on display. What are you selling? That's what you should think about every time you post something. What are you trying to sell? What image are you really trying to portray out here in these streets? I don't like the way it's being sexualized. I feel like it's BS for her to say she loves herself and she's not insecure. You are insecure. Because if you think those bags that you call the Biles bags are a disadvantage to you, that's not. That's something that you could trace back through your history then. That makes you unique. Saying that you love how your body looks, but you just wanted it. You just wanted it. So you go up under the knife and put something foreign in your body that could take you out. Even after you hear all the horror stories. Listen here. There are people that leave here having surgeries that they have to have. These own time talking about you're healthy and you're trying to go have a surgery that you don't need to put foreign objects in that could leak and contaminate your whole bloodstream. I think it's stupid. And every time somebody come out and say, I'm speaking my truth and I love myself, I say, I'm so sorry for you because you don't love yourself. Because if you loved yourself, you would think you were perfect just the way you are. God didn't make a mistake when he made you. He made you in his image. So if you think you need perfection to be wonderful, then I'm sorry. You have a problem with yourself. And it's time that we take back that pride and say we love ourselves.
I appreciate you. Felicia, your thoughts?
Okay. So Simone said social media is not real. Neither are her breasts.
Oh my God.
She said she loved herself and she loved how she looked. But clearly her husband didn't. So when he leave her with the big boobs and the tight eyes, maybe she'll take him out and get back to really loving herself. Because this I know. When a man love you, he love you like he met you. No, he don't want you to go up 200 pounds if you don't have to. He don't want you to get harmed or hurt. But who you are when he first sees you is what he loves. That girl ain't got a piece of body fat. She ain't got nothing crooked. She's absolutely stunning. But I believe he told her it's not enough. Your small breasts are not attractive. You don't have enough thickness. So she went, this opinion set, under the knife and got herself all cut up after probably 20-something years of working on body perfection. Super athlete. But she gonna keep it real because social media ain't. She's a liar. And when this marriage is over, you take them out and find somebody who loves you and is not beating you down every day saying what you ain't. but celebrating everything that you are.
Ooh,
I'm done.
I appreciate you. 48.
Yeah, I'm kind of agreeing with, in my opinion, and Miss Felicia. I could have respected it more if Simone just would have came out and just said like she didn't like that she had like a boyish frame, because I remember when it was going viral with her husband saying that he was the catch and all of that, and people were talking about like how she looked, and it's okay. Like, I think people accepted it at the time because she was a gymnast, and it's majority of like how all of them are built, like that upper body is just built like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I think when she came out saying like she loved her body and blah blah blah, people was like, yeah, you know what, we're behind her on that. But then it's like she's talking out, you like you said, word salad, because it's like, if you like it, then why change it?
Mm-hmm.
Just come out and just say, you know, you didn't like the way that your breast looked, you know, and your husband, he's the catch because you agreed. You know, you didn't correct him, you agreed, and you're trying to make sure that you keep your catch. And if he's, I don't know where he's playing, if he's in Houston, then I know she's definitely trying to keep up with them girls that be down there at NRG in them boxes, you know, because like Miss Felicia said, curvy, thick, that's just how they are down there. And Simone is a beautiful person. Her story is beautiful, but I think that it's coming out more that she's inauthentic. And
Mm-hmm.
when you're doing that, you're just hurting yourself and prolonging like the healing process, because at first when you hear her story you would be like, oh, okay, she's, you know, she's together, you know, she can be a good mentor. But when you start to see things, people are human, don't get me wrong, but when you start to see these things that she's claiming that she's overcome or doesn't bother her, but doing the total opposite, it just make her look weird to me.
I appreciate you. Savannah, your thoughts?
I'm agreeing with everyone that has spoken so far. It's quite evident that this young lady was not happy with herself, and as we know, she's short and boxy frame, and not an ounce of fat or cellulite or nothing on that body.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think she's way too young for the messing with her face. That
Mm.
surprised me. I would have never guessed that. I'm looking at the breasts. I think they're too big for her frame. I don't know how old they are or new, if she's still swollen or whatever. But I'm gonna find it difficult for her to be able to do the flips and defy gravity as she does. I don't know how this is going to affect her talent in her career. This seems more of um, for my man than versus for her. And I don't know who she's trying to convince on social media, since it's not real. Is it her or her husband that she's trying to convince? But um,
Mm.
I've always known that when I seen her documentary, that she had an issue with her looks, and she was very insecure. But I didn't. I mean, I think her fans and audience didn't believe she needed to go as far and as drastic as she has. And as we all know, once you start going under the knife, you become addicted, and you start finding other little traits that you want to fix, and then you start looking plastic. And I hope that she doesn't go take it to that extreme, because it might be something more. It might be mental, and she might need to go speak with someone. I hope this is the end of her plastic surgery journey, because she didn't need it before, and she definitely, I don't, in my opinion, won't need anything in the future.
Yeah. Ooh, Julius.
She looks plastic. I'm sorry. Like, if you're doing it to enhance yourself, get something that could be natural to your frame.
Mm-hmm.
Because, case in point, it's no secret, but Kelly Rowland has plastic surgery with, you know, the top area.
Mm-hmm.
But most folks can't tell because she got it natural to her frame and it's proportionate. But some people go overboard and they get the big everything and they're like, I look so beautiful, this and that. And you ended up looking like a damn clown. So women, hear me, because I'm talking to you right now. If a man is telling you, oh, you need to go under the knife, you need the latest BBL, you need the latest lip injection, you need the latest liposuction, you need the latest nose job, hit the road immediately or kick him to the curb. Do not alter your body for no man because it's highly likely that man is still going to degrade you, belittle you, and probably find somebody else. Because, like RuPaul says, if you can't love yourself, how the heck you gonna love somebody else?
Mm. Katrina, your thoughts?
Yeah, Diva. These people, I mean, she can do what she wants with her body.
Mm-hmm.
Because they get looked down so much different than the others. You got to go back with Venus and Serena. People talked about their looks, their hair, their this, their that. They looking like monkeys. They talked about these girls all the time. And Serena, being the person that she is, on the tennis court and all this, but you got to go out and endorse a uh, a weight loss drug.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as you exercise, as much as you be on the court and you can't lose weight that way, I don't believe that. I mean, maybe it is true with that, but I'm just saying you endorsing a weight loss drug that really, really has a lot of defects to it. And, it was Simone Biles. Baby, them breasts is a little too big for your body. And like Savannah said, flipping and all that type of stuff, you're going to have to wear like 2 or 3 sports bras. But we say it on this panel all the time, Diva. People can do what they want to do with themselves because it's their bodies. But you have to look at the long effects of these things. These people are not doing it just to please you. They doing it because they want the money. They see people coming in looking a hot mess and will still do these surgeries because they want that person money. They don't care how that person looks because all of them end up looking like chickens. They have the big butts and the little legs, and they still go out and do the same thing over and over again. And I mean, we see that you went out and you did this and you said you want to be open, you want to be real and let people know where you coming from. We was going to see that anyway because if we looked at your body, we know it's not the same. And if you're, like we said, if a man's telling you to do this to your body, well, let him do something to his body. Maybe I don't like the way you looking and causing this child to have body dysmorphia because she's looking at her body thinking that something is wrong when there's nothing wrong with your body. Girl, you ain't made your money. If you gotta listen to a man telling you what to do with your body, then you don't need that man in your life at all. You need to go and do what you need to do for yourself and kick his tail to the curb because nobody can tell you how to do anything with your body that's going to make you happy.
We
Because,
don't know 100%
okay,
sure.
well, allegedly, I take that back, allegedly. But if any person, woman, man, child, whatever, telling you to do something that they haven't done to themselves, then I wouldn't do it. You do it first and let me see how I look on you, and then maybe I'll go behind you. But let me see you do it first. Don't be pushing these people out to do this. And I'm not saying that he pushed her out to do it. I'm not saying that anybody pushed her out to do it. I'm just saying, love your own self, love your body, love what you got going on. Girl, you are a superstar. You are a superstar. You ain't got to worry about what people are thinking about you, but you do worry about it because you in the limelight. And it just, I don't know. These people, I just don't get these people anymore. I mean, like you said, you can have all the money in the world and you still ain't happy. That's all I got.
Thank you. Listen, guys, I appreciate y'all being here for Thursday night.
Diva, can I please say something in closing?
Yes.
Okay, because I don't want to be misunderstood. I could get on fire here tonight because January 1 ain't get here yet. But I'm going to be real clear. I listened to what you read from the article.
Mm-hmm.
You was quoted that she says she loved her body.
Mm-hmm.
She loved how she looks. So why are you putting in implants? What was there a deficiency? Did she have some kind of cancer? Did she had to get something removed? If not, my experiences tell me somebody in your household is telling you you don't look good enough. You're lacking something. It's my experience that tells me when you have this kind of conversation going on in your household, more than likely somebody wants to step outside of the marriage and is trying to get you ready for it. So then maybe you're doing this and doing that to be more attractive to them because you love your body. You love how you look. So either she's lying that she loves her body because she don't love it, or somebody is lying to her. And I don't think it's anybody but her husband. And when men want to step out of a relationship that is monogamous, the first thing they do is attack their partner's looks. You're not sexy enough. I don't find you attractive. I don't know what's going on with you. I don't know what's happening with us. And all too often, the wife, the woman, will say, I'll go do this and I'll go do that. Because they're terrified of their partner becoming unfaithful and being out in the street. So I hope that it wasn't her husband. I hope she is confused and she gets clarity. But I'm going to wager it's the husband. And when he's gone, she'll get rid of them and she'll come back and tell us a different story in the People magazine.
Yeah, all I'm saying is that she also said that the bowel eyes, that they have those eyes, and she wanted to get rid of them. I'm leaning towards she's not telling the truth. That's what I'm leaning towards, and everybody has a right to their own opinion. But mine is, I'm just leaning towards she ain't telling the truth. This is something she wanted to do, and she did what she wanted to do, and here she is. And you want to come up and say you're being transparent and social media ain't real. But to me, she's not being 100% real. And then when she goes, because she was saying she wanted to be in the next Olympics, she's going to see that them boobs in the next Olympics, I don't think it's going to go that well together. But, I wish her well. And then also, before she even met him, she was getting the Botox. So I just think she got some issues that she needs to resolve. And normally, once plastic surgery, they said is similar to a drug. Once you stop, it seems like they don't stop. And she started out with the Botox, and you in your 20s needing Botox. I can't even imagine in your 20s needing Botox. I'll tell you,
I know people who get Botox because they tell me. I'm not looking at you and going, "Oh, you had some Botox put in," but
right,
those breasts were so rich and so abundant, you can't help but notice that something's a whole lot different.
Right,
I think that's why she talked
about the story. That's all. We just have a difference of opinion on the story.
Okay.
In the hospital, they say the poor man's facelift is water. Drink a whole bunch of water every day, and I'm not going to say for sure, but you might just be okay. Anyway, guys, listen, now over here, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I'm not going to fight you to believe mine, and I don't want you to fight me to believe yours. It is what it is. But I just hope she gets her life together, because when you in your 20s doing Botox, to me, it's problematic. But anyway, guys, Y'all know the routine. If you ain't hit that like button on the way in, do the Diva a favor, hit the like button on the way out. I will stay connected to this story with the woman with the Kia. It's tragic and sad. And now she lost one child, and the other child perhaps lost a parent. So there you have that. Simone, I mean, I don't know. To me, the body looked amazing. I don't know where you go from there to get all this plastic surgery. But then I somehow get it because I see what Serena Williams did to her body. So anyway, guys, hit the like button. See y'all not tomorrow night because I'm going to hang out in the streets. See y'all on Saturday.
Hey,
Good night,
girlfriend.
everybody. Choo choo.
Choo, choo, choo.